So I wanted to do another episode on my Whoop device with some new findings that I've been seeing, most recently because of how hot it's been here in the San Diego County. And if you'd like to go back to my original review that I did, it was episode 490, which was my month 5 update of my 6-month weight loss challenge that I gave myself. So for sure, check that out because I won't go into detail with everything I did on that review. But I have about 3 new findings that I've discovered wearing this Whoop device, which pretty much locked in the fact that I'm going to go ahead and renew the membership for this Whoop for another year. Not only that, but I already bought another one for my wife because of how powerful the metrics are that you get from them. So if you're interested, stay tuned.
How's it going? This is Brad Williams with Over 40 Fitness Hacks, the podcast where I help you, being over 40, to fight the aging process without giving up your social life. I've been a personal trainer and gym owner for over 14 years, and I specialize in helping the over 40 crowd get to their goals. If you need a little bit of guidance, check out my show notes. I have a link to schedule a free 15-minute Zoom call, and you can ask all the questions you want. But enough of that. Let's get on with the episode.
So like I said, check out episode 490 for my Whoop tracker review, which I originally bought for my 6-month challenge. It was month 5 and I was working on sleep, but a lot has happened since then. I'm almost finished with my 6 months challenge. And because of how hot it is here in San Diego, just within the last 2 weeks, I wanted to go over some of those findings. So the amount of calories I've been burning, my BMR plus what it takes to live life, do some exercise, has been around 2,000 calories to 2,400 calories. And nothing has changed the longest time. I've put myself on 1,500 calories to do a rapid weight loss program for like 3 months now. And I probably should gear it down to 1,400, but I'm just so used to this 1,500 calorie diet. I don't want to have to count all my macros all over again. And I'm still dropping. What I noticed though is on my Whoop tracker, for those of you who are using it or want to, I started seeing my BMR and my calories burned by the end of the day going up significantly. So like I said, from 2,000 to 2,400 is usually where I'm at. And now out of nowhere, I'm anywhere from 2,300 to 2,800 calories. I'm not doing anything different in the gym. I'm not going any heavier. I'm not going on any longer walks. I'm literally doing the same thing every week as more of a maintenance to what I like to do to all prove that you can lose weight just by working on all the other things like sleep, stress, calorie intake. I looked at all the other people who are making comments about the same type of thing on usually Reddit, Google. I go down the TikTok rabbit hole. And what I've come to discover is because of the heat wave here in San Diego for the last 3 weeks, that is literally the only metric that could have changed. And also a couple of times my skin temperature has been elevated more than normal. My Whoop tracker keeps going off like crazy because we don't have AC in our house. And not only that, but while I'm doing those same workouts, that same hike I do every week, those calories for just that workout went up by like 50%. So normally when I do a workout for 30 minutes, my focus is to build lean muscle mass or at least maintain lean muscle mass, not just burn all these crazy calories, right? Because I don't need it because I'm tracking all my nutrition. But those workouts were anywhere from 120 to 150, maybe if I'm lucky, I'd hit 200. And now same workouts are all hitting 250, 300 for everything across the board, even my hike. And that is the only thing that the Whoop is tracking, showing my skin temperature is elevating. I know it's hot as heck down here. I'm sweating like crazy, or when I normally don't sweat. Well, maybe it's the heat and the humidity are both a double dipper right now. So this should last probably for another week here in San Diego and then cool back down. And I expect to see all my metrics go down back to where they were. But in my mind, I'm like, how do I recreate this if I don't want to do the extra time in the gym? I don't want to do any extra hiking. And so this comes back to things that we used to do back as personal trainers for clients who are trying to push the limits. And that is elevate your body temp and sweat more. So one easy thing that we used to do in the gym was just for our clients that really wanted to get to that level. We didn't want to do the sweatsuits that all the boxers used. It was a little risky. So we would just have everyone wear sweaters or hoodies. Not only that, but your sweater or hoodie would soak up all the sweat anyways. It was like a perfect combo. You wouldn't get that elevated temperature as you would if you were to wear a sweatsuit. And the next thing would be to crank up the temperature of the gym, which I would not do. I'd lose all my clients. Plus, I didn't want to do it. So the other way is going outside with a hoodie or going outside when it's hot for short times, as long as you're staying hydrated, you should burn all these extra calories. Now, what I have not done yet is seeing stressors to the body and catching all these metrics with my Whoop device. What would the Whoop device say when I was doing my cold plunges during the winter in my parents' pool, around 50 degrees, almost ice cold? What would it say then? So I'm going to have to check this out next winter to see if the same thing holds true, that your body's temperature is going to have to increase to fight off this and you're burning more calories. A little hard to replicate in the gym. You're not going to wear an ice jacket and work out. But for those of you who don't want to do the extra work and the extra wear and tear on the body, I think just increasing the heat, maybe work out outside, or if you're in the gym, go ahead and wear a sweater or a hoodie as long as you stay hydrated and you're not worried about passing out. And then if you got the Whoop device, track it. But from what I'm using on this, it's just extra calories I can burn doing the same thing. And my whole podcast is about efficiency, getting to where I want to be, single digit body fat, doing the least amount of work possible. I'm not trying to be an athlete and compete and do all that. I just want to feel good, look good, and my blood work look great. So one last note on the tracker is your HRV, your heart rate variability. And I actually have a guest coming on, Don Moxley, that should be airing in about a month and a half. And I highly recommend listening to that episode because he was the creator of HRV, or at least for certain fitness trackers. So he mentioned working for Polar and including that in there. HRV has probably been around forever, but he was the one that put it into the trackers. So who knows if the Whoop was because of him. But what he explained with heart rate variability, it's basically another measure of fitness is what we can tell, that the more fit you are, the higher HRV you have. And what is HRV? Well, that variability is basically, say your resting heart rate is 60 beats per minute. So basically that means 1 beat per second. If you were listening to your heartbeat and hearing that hit on the second every time perfectly, you would have a great HRV. But what happens is certain stressors in our lives, or poor choices on weekends, if you're like me, or various other things, also lack of sleep, will start playing around with that HRV to where it's not a perfect second beat. It's all sorts of different variances that could still average out to 60 beats per minute, but it's not on the perfect metronome of the 1 second thing. So that's what I've come to grasp. And like I said, listen to the episode. Don Moxley explains it a little bit better. But what I noticed that affects HRV for me on the Whoop device is lack of sleep, alcohol for sure, CBD, THC and CBD, and melatonin. And when I went down those rabbit holes, basically it said, if you don't have problems with melatonin production, then it can actually hurt your sleep, versus the people who are lacking in it, those supplements boost them back up to a normal level. And people who experience that on the places that I've looked said they increase their HRV. But Whoop themselves said if you didn't need it, it could hurt you. And so I'm suspecting that THC and CBD, although they're more mellowing and try to help with sleep, if you didn't need it and were having perfect sleep, it could mess with your rhythm in your body. So those are just some of my updates that I've discovered since that last episode. And I wanted to put another piece of content out there. And like I mentioned, I will be buying this for my wife, trying to get my mother on. This just the power of the metrics that come in there just explains so much about the person that maybe it, like myself as a personal trainer, wouldn't really know what's going on with them. And then maybe they wouldn't know what to tell me. But now the proof's in the data. And I think just in the future with AI and all these new products coming out, it's just going to be insane what kind of stuff that we can watch for ourselves. Because one thing is for sure, you got to take health into your own hands. You cannot rely just on Western medicine to take you all the way. Ask questions, ask your medical doctor, ask whatever health and wellness professional you work with. Always ask for ways to improve your health, not just being in the averages of everyone else. It is not that hard to be the elite status. So I think I'll end it with that. Maybe I motivated some people to buy a Whoop device or any kind of those fitness trackers. I think they're really motivating. They're really helping. And stay tuned for the end of my 6-month challenge results coming in a week. And I will be putting some before after pictures that I did on my Facebook group. If you check that out, I'll put that in the show notes, as well as a link to a Zoom consultation I do for free for every member of my audience just to see if I can't point you in the right direction. So if you're interested, both of those are in the show notes. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next one.
If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know that I've moved down here to San Diego and I'm actually going to be training at one of my local gyms. So in this process, you got to do the Yelp and Google reviews to get some action going. And what I'd like to do is ask my audience if anyone out there would be so gracious enough to leave me a 5-star Google review to help build my local training clients. If you love the show or have had any results from listening, please click on the show notes for my link to get to these Google reviews, as it is hard even to find me by searching for over 40 fitness hacks on Google Maps currently. Thank you once again, and I hope you love the show. If you'd like a little bit of help checking out your diet and your current routine, I'd be happy to help. I always do a free 15-minute Zoom consultation for anyone, no strings attached, just to see if I can help point you in the right direction. So if you're interested, check out the show notes. The link is at the top.